Okay, we should be live.
Okay, this is
well,
exciting.
yeah, it should be. Let's see. Let's refresh just to be sure. Perfect. Okay, we are live. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Albert. Hi. We have Albert Kozlowski. I don't know if I've pronounced that well.
Perfect.
He has been developer for 25 years, so this is like a Guinness. And we'll talk about, as the title said, founders, startups, because he founded already 2 startups. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he founded a startup, then he sold that. I want to hear the story. And now he has another startup which started, I think, last year, at the end of the last year. Oh, yeah, you can say the exact date, but welcome everyone. Also follow him. Let's put your Twitter account. He also is a content creator. He has a YouTube account. I've seen that you have a video with more than 13,000
but
views.
I was testing something. It's like, let's not talk about these views under these videos.
Great. Okay, so this is the link. Okay, perfect. Okay, so perfect, Albert. So I said something about you. We know each other just a little bit on Twitter, right? So I'm here to talk with you. Welcome to this series. I'm really happy to have you here.
It's an honor to be invited. Actually, it was one of my goals for this year to do something with you. I always wanted to come to your channel to have a conversation. I was watching your videos from the very beginning when you started your 100 videos project. So I'm very honored and humbled.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm honored, of course, of this, because I'm just here because I want to share stories about developers, who we are, what we do in our life. So it's interesting for me. So Albert, if you want, we can start also from the beginning, because I think that we have some time. So from where would you like to start? Yeah, Rika. Hi, Rika. Always the first one. Yeah.
So maybe before I even started my first job as software developer, I was very interested in building products. I didn't learn programming because I wanted to be software developer. I learned programming because I wanted to create games. I wanted to create a website. So for me, it was always a tool as a maker, as a creator.
Nice.
But obviously, when I was 20 years old, wondering what to do, I decided, okay, maybe career in software development is good. Back then, they didn't pay so well. You still made nice money, but it wasn't as nice as these days, especially in Poland when I was living back then. I got my first job as PHP developer. I think it was 2009, late 2009. Okay. For the next couple of years, I was changing jobs quite often, I would say. I had 4 jobs in the next 3 years. I was doing as well freelancing. I tried to learn as many technologies as I can.
Nice. Which technologies? Tell me some of them.
PHP, JavaScript, Python. I was also trying a little Java. I was coding as well a little bit in C++ sometimes. Now I code in Node.js, mostly Golang. I tried Ruby, Elixir. So basically, I went through them all.
I like them. Yeah.
And I always try to pick up these professional projects where I can use something on production, not only code at home.
Nice.
Then actually, my story, because both of my startups and my previous some jobs were in domain of video conferencing. So in 2014, I moved to London from Poland. And actually, there is a funny story because it was my first time being in London, and it was my first time being on a plane. And I told my ex-wife back then that, okay, we are moving to London. I want to work somewhere else. We took our two-year-old son and we moved to England. And we had only hotel for the next 3 days. We didn't have any plan. I didn't know any people. I was first time there. But I wanted to learn English. I wanted to live there. I wanted to see how people work in a different country. So that was very, I would say, risky, bold move back then.
Yeah, I don't know, but sometimes this is the best way because when you go without a plan, maybe it's the best way because you have to do something. Because usually when you make a plan, it doesn't work. So.
Yes, and I always believed in burning boats. Like the warriors in the old times were coming to new lands, they were burning boats so no one would come back. I like this approach. So that's how I moved to England. I found a job. I was working for a couple of years in the video conferencing company, like one of the most like popular in London. And then I think it was 2016. I would have to check actually, but or 2017. The person I was freelancing back in the days approached me that, oh, I live in London, I would like to talk to you. And I kind of felt that there is some business opportunity there. So we met, we talked, and he approached me with a startup idea to record and analyze online meetings. And yeah, then story started. We started a company. I quit my job. We raised money from angel investors. We hired a few people in Poland. I moved back from London to Poland because it's much cheaper to build development team in Poland than in London, and it's very good space, very good place to hire engineers.
Yeah,
we were running
I've heard this already. Yeah, from other people that it's a good place.
Yeah, it's a very good place because people speak English and market is not saturated. It's still possible to hire a developer relatively quickly.
Yeah,
we were running company for around 2 years, and then we were being acquired. And unfortunately, I cannot mention any details here about the acquisition. But as you can see, I have to work. I don't drive Ferrari. And after a while working for a company that acquired us, I was like massively burnout. Like I was going to like massive burnout. I basically couldn't look at the code. I couldn't work with the code. So I decided to take 1 year off completely. Don't do anything, basically just sit at home, party, like travel. But I didn't do any work for 1 year. And that was like very helpful for me to get back, because for 5 years, I didn't have any holidays. I was working like hard. I was always chasing side projects, freelancing, and it really burned me. I, for a while, hated programming. I literally wanted to get away from that space.
Yeah, maybe you just needed maybe some more little breaks before reaching that point. Maybe.
Oh yeah, but I have this tendency to like go too much over the board. Even with sports, I end up in hospital twice from running too much. So that shows what kind of character I have. If I go into something, I go too much, which is a problem.
Yeah, maybe you should work on that. But but I think it's a good sign that maybe you really, I don't know, like overextend. You really want to know your limit. Maybe you still don't know which they are, but I understand you quite well.
Yes, definitely. That was the time that I learned that I need some time off. Also, I was going that way. I was a little quite depressed. I didn't see I didn't know what I enjoy in life again. I lost my passion. I lost my passion from technology. I lost my passion for work. I lost my passion for everything. But after this year, that was also an interesting period, which is important to the Birdslate story and what I'm doing now. During this year, I was partying quite a lot. And when you go to the bars, to the clubs, usually the people that are there that are like 20 years old, they are not 30 years old, because people over 30 usually have better stuff to do than sit in the bars. So for a while, I became this person, you know, when you pass with your girlfriend and point out, oh, look at this sad guy in the bar, midlife crisis. Basically, that was my life for a year. I was partying. But I noticed very interesting thing, that 20 years old people, in their early 20s, communicate through video. They never text each other anymore, just put phone and record themselves and talk to the camera and send them messages.
I understand this perfectly, because we almost have the same age. So for us, it's less natural. It doesn't mean that we can't have a YouTube channel, that we can't make videos, but it's less natural for us. If you born just already with videos and stuff, it's more natural for you. Yeah.
Yes, and I also noticed that people don't you can even go to the for example, I was going to the bar, I was posting Insta story with the location, and people were coming in because they saw Insta story. I noticed how big video is in communication. between younger people. That was something, I think there is massive difference between 30 plus years old and 20 plus years old. When we started with technology, the internet connections were so bad we couldn't actually watch videos in the internet.
I was there.
Yeah, like few seconds movies for downloading the hour on the modem. So our generation actually, even though we are still young, I think there is a quite big gap between what young people do and what 30 years old plus people do.
Yeah,
and then pandemic started, and that was actually when pandemic started, like everyone was happy that, we work from home, we don't need to go to the meetings. But 3 months later, I started like talking to people that work in the startups. I was consulting a little to my friends. I was like talking to other engineering leagues, the architects, and everyone seems sad. They started seeing like they lost something. And I was talking to people and they told me like, well, basically we don't have architecture meetings because we don't have whiteboards. Whiteboard solution online sucks. And the same goes for knowing what other people do. Engineering teams were sitting in the silos, and people using text communication in the companies or video communication organize themselves around projects. You go to the meeting, you don't talk about what you ate for breakfast. You just have agenda, you talk about it, you leave the meeting. And most of the people don't even turn their camera on. And that was weird because at the same time, YouTube exploded. Like YouTube exploded last year, and during pandemic, it started exploding more and more and more. And that was the moment I realized I want to start a company. And I didn't have product idea. I didn't start like most developers start by building some product. No, I said, why I want to start a company. And this is actually from the book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. It's a way of like building company. You first need to answer yourself why you build a company. And my why was work should be fun. Everyone who ever worked with me knows that I love like partying with my colleagues. I always spending hours by the football table. I was taking long lunch breaks. I always like socializing at work. And that was the moment I realized that we miss socializing at work. But there's massive discrepancy. The same people that were sitting at work, writing emails, talking on text-based chats, were coming later. I mean, they were still at home because pandemic, but they were turning YouTube channel, Twitter, following people, consuming video content. And it wasn't something, no one forced you to consume this content. You want to consume this content. Yet at work, you are forced to go to the meetings. You feel like someone needs to beat you up to go to the meeting. You have people like organizing long, boring 2-hour meetings at work. And that was my realization. The two worlds clashed. You have fun content creators that we follow after hours, and you have old school managers that try to police people and micromanage people, even in online pandemic, still organizing long, boring meetings. And that was my realization that the future of work is not, we're never gonna go back to pre-pandemic time. Post-pandemic leadership will be exactly like content creators. The future management, it will be people creating short, engaging content. And engaging content is a content that you can consume sitting on the toilet. Everything that you cannot watch while shitting is boring. And I don't care if my content is consumed while I shit, because that's great if someone will get engaged, And that was the idea, like that was the first question, like that was my idea why I want to start a company. I didn't even know that I want to create video asynchronous chat for team. I just wanted to know, I knew that I wanted to do something with business and video. So my next step was to actually build a branding. I chose a name, Birdslate. The name was created from the bird plus film slate, so it has some movie. And bird is because my girlfriend is calling me Birdie. On that, like, this is my nickname. So
I really love these things. Yeah, under the hood, behind the scenes. Yeah.
And then I started like working on the brand on.
Yes, sorry. I'm Martin.
I see the question. Yes, Martin, it's okay. And then it was the interesting part, I decided to first brand the company and then build the product. I didn't even know what I really want to build yet, but I knew what I want to do, and I knew why and how. Why work should be fun. How? By providing video for business, by introducing video content creators for business. And then we came up with the logo, and that was actually the funny thing. I met this guy on Twitter that runs the digital agency like in Canada. I pinged him about if they can create a logo and branding for me. And then he asked me, okay, what should brand represent? And I told him, imagine like bird that goes to work every day to the office, is bored, and one day buys the tickets to the like punk rock concert. So it has to have few feather dye, pink, puts a leather jacket, some piercing, and goes to this concert. But this logo has to as well be movie related. And that was really challenging task, like this description was so bizarre because I wanted the brand to be joyful. I wanted it to be like me, like joyful, nice. like when you play with friends. I always organize like beers with friends, like, I like to party, like I wanted to represent me. So this whole branding like took us probably like 2 months, and we like went to many graphic designs. And nice. I don't know if you can share, but if you go to birdslate.com, but everyone that can go can see the logo.
Yeah, I like this.
And this is like this logo, like the branding and the whole startup it's not something I made up. This is something that 100% represent what I believe. It represents my personality. And then after the branding was created, then after I had a name, I started, okay, so how exactly I'm going to introduce video for business? And this was the moment that I already did research. I already was thinking, talking to people. So I didn't start from the product. And this is very different approach than most of software developers take. I start with why, not with what I'm going to do. And
I like this.
And because I started with why and work should be fun, even if I pivot and change it to not from chats where you can communicate via asynchronous video messages to something else, it still can represent the company, this DNA that I want to provide people fun at work. I can create video game for people, and it still will be represent the product will match the company. But if I focus myself too much on the product, when I pivot, I would get sad every time I want to pivot, and then it stops being fun. That's why there is Birdslate, and how the company is created, and what we want to provide is it's connected, because it's part of how I want to run business, and I want to help others run the business in some way, same way. I think we provided people tools to do work, like we have email, text-based, video, but we didn't provide tools for people to have fun at work, casual conversation. And this is the space I want to fix. That's why I created this video hub where you can send short video messages to your friends. There is no text communication. Video has to be on. We provide desktop first experience. We don't want employees to install work application on your phone, because you already have probably work email on your phone, and people, you check notification. No, I want you to use my application on your desktop, and don't use it after work, because this is bad actually for you. You shouldn't be like always on. And exactly. Our desktop application has always on feature. So whenever someone from your team sends you video, it's auto playing on your desktop in the corner. So when you're coding, you see videos, but you can reply them whenever you want. Yeah. And that's the beauty. But camera has to be on. But because you can reply whenever you want, you can put makeup, or you can put clothes, or you can clean up your apartment, and you can prepare. It's not like standard video call. And this is the clash. This is I'm finishing this story, but this is the clash we live in. I think we live with fun content creators that provide you entertainment. You follow them because you want to follow. And then we have managers at work that force you to go to these meetings. They don't create fun, engaging content. That's why I believe content creators exploded in like normal world. Yeah. Now it's time for business to adapt. Now it's time for business to pick up video and start promoting culture where you have content creators. And you should reward employees that create content internal, even if they are not the best employees. Sometimes you can have someone who is not the best developer, but he keeps the team together by providing this fun. And this is also important. If you kill that by pandemic, we lost it. So this is my story. This is where I am right now.
Yeah, Albert,
and this is why I created it.
Yeah, I'm really happy to have you here. Let me show you some comments on people that are really loving you. Also, something that resembles like a bird. Yeah. So what you said, it's really interesting. Also, the last thing that you said. Also, I've been a volleyball coach in the past, so it's not about having just the best players but sometimes it's important to have a player who is is there for teamwork. So it's important. It's not about just the skill, but we can also talk about what people usually call soft skills. I don't like the term soft. It should be like, I don't know, human skill, but we know what we are talking about, because I think that they are super important. So what can we say? What do you think about soft skill communication in the development world?
This is hard, because this is actually the problem why like with selling the Birdslate like as a product. Who's being technical leads in the companies and the IT managers, the best developers? How many hours of leadership training they ever got? Most of the case, 0. And people are not trained, to be lead, to be manager, you need to be trained. You need to work on that. And most of the companies promote just the best developers. And this is the problem. They can do very well job focusing on building code, on managing people from code perspective, but they fail at understand this bigger picture. And this is also the good example. I talk to companies and ask, how is your architecture doing after 1 year of a pandemic? And most of the companies I talked about, they didn't improve at all. Like, they didn't move. Everything that started before pandemic was finished, but and in IT engineering, 25% of developers change a job every year. So if you have a team, 25% of your team leaves. So many teams have 25% of new faces they never saw in real life, and they still don't understand this problem. So the soft skills, I think there is a big problem in engineering with soft skills right now. That I think is better. I think it's getting better. People understand it. They educate themselves, but it's still people in the companies, especially people that runs the companies, they don't provide enough training for people to actually build these soft skills. Because soft skills is not something that you're born with. You can learn them. Yeah, you have to work on yourself. And I think the soft skills are very neglected skills, but the market is training people. Keep in mind, let's say you are a junior developer. Let's say you know React, and now you have a choice. Learn how to better talk or better communicate, or put Node.js in your CV. How much more money you'll get if you put Node.js, and how much more money you will get if you learn how to communicate better? The answer is simple. We promote technical skills more. And then when you are getting promoted to technical lead, to the manager, you are in a situation where you cannot communicate your ideas. And this is the most important skill whilst your career grows. And this can also bring money, but later on the way. So people get promoted, get into this position, but they never got training, they never ready, they focus on technical skills. I think the market is training people to just focus on technical skills, and many people start understanding that. And I'm happy to see actually on technical Twitter that we started talking about soft skills, human skills. Let's call it human skills more often. More often, and people started actually talking about imposter syndrome, about burnout, about communication, and we talk a little less about technology. I like it, but I still think it's not enough. I still think the market and the companies approaching should provide more training to the software engineers.
Thank you, Albert. I can make also me as an example, because I was really that guy who really never logged on any socials, so just learning new things all day long. For example, for me, I've improved a lot since 2020, working on my communication skills and soft skills, especially on socials, because I'm used to talk in real life. But for example, socials for me were really a problem. To show me on a video, it was really, really a problem for me. So,
that's why I started YouTube channel to be a little better. But I can tell you that I also had to work in the past, because I used to be asshole sometimes to people. I know that I was driven by ego, and I can admit that. Many of my decisions, like I was trying to prove someone, people around. And this takes you a lot of evaluation yourself. That's why this 1 year break, why I took, to help me as well to see what I did wrong. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, okay, I'm a little ashamed and I wish I could be better, but I wasn't sometimes the nicest person to people around. And, it takes you time and looking back at yourself to realize that, actually.
Perfect. Thank you, Albert. There is Mijndert, I don't know if I pronounced that well, is asking, is the Macintosh in background is your main workstation?
Not yet, although I want to do this project when I'll be coding on this Mac, using only this Mac, for this Mac, for a couple of days. And I was thinking that maybe it's possible to create Twitter client, but I don't know yet because I don't know nothing how to develop for retro machines. I have actually 2 retro Macintosh. I like retro computers. As a teenager, I was also collecting the retro computers. I had multiple Amigas, and I was always interested in the retro hardware, because in the 80s you have multiple platforms, not like these days that you have 2 types of CPU and operating systems, but you have really bizarre stuff.
Yeah, I had a Commodore 64. Do you know that? Have you ever heard that one?
Yes, I had one too.
I have one working on my garage. One day I'll make a video about that because it's still on my garage, and one day I'll make a video about that.
Oh, you should check if your battery didn't explode, because unfortunately some components could get bad.
Yeah, it's unplugged, of course. Let's see because we have some people. Let's see. Martin, there's a huge gap in soft skills, particularly around the growth mindset. Yeah, I totally agree with this. Let's see. Pranav, they're not questions, but just interaction. They're now teaching or making us understand in my university, and I think more and more people are understanding how important soft skills are. Yeah, I think this is really, really important. Way more than just learning, I don't know, a lot of JavaScript frameworks. Yeah, it says that why are you so stressed? Take a drink and chill down. Are you? Yeah.
I actually know this person in real life, so he saw me at the heart of the party. And yes, camera still makes me shy. I'm getting better, but it's still not my natural environment, and I'm trying to train myself to be better with the camera. So, and unfortunately, I don't have any whiskey at home, so I have to drink water now.
Yeah, but I think it's normal. I think it's a great training to try this. After doing this, you can make videos in other ways. You are maybe more relaxed. Take this as a training, like an exercise. But Pranav, awesome. I love retro tech too. It seems that we are old. Yeah, Rainbow Six. Wow. Yeah. This is amazing. So Albert, thank you so much for what you said. I like your mindset, your way of communication, everything about that. We had so many topics. I tried to choose one. I like this one. Can you build a startup without money? Because we are always talking about money things. So I choose this one.
So short answer is no, I think, but there is one thing that people need to understand. First, when you build something, you need to understand if you're building a side project or a startup. Startup is the company built with these values, like I said, starting from why you want to do something with the mission. Side project is the project that you build a product, that you focus on the feature, you can try new tech, sometimes you start it with to play around. It doesn't have to bring you money, you can have different reasons. But every side project can be grow into a startup. So I think without any money, you can build a side project. But to build a real company, I think you need at least a little bit of money, because I bet there are people that can pull out everything by themselves. But for example, I wouldn't be able to start without any savings, without any money.
Yeah. But I think if of course, if you have any questions about that, I can make this one. Yeah, I agree with this. I think I like the idea that you split they are 2 different ideas. A startup and a side project. So I like that you think about, okay, now I'm creating a startup, or I'm just trying something. Yeah, for me, or as you say, also it could be useful for resume, just to show it up. So I like that you you change mentality about
this is different mindset, and don't get me wrong, side projects can be also profitable. You can make money out of side project. It's just the different way of building, and company is something different to side projects. And even though you have legal entity, for me, it's that this mindset is very important. And I think many people do this mistake, that they compare themselves with the companies when they build side projects. And if you build something small, you want to be happy, you don't want to have boss, this is side project. But building company is a big responsibility as well. So it's like you have employees often, customers, you cannot just pack and leave. And which I want to add here, I find the worst motivation to start the startup, or like in general, like company, if you tell, I don't want to have boss. This is the worst, because once you start the company, you have worse than boss. You have everyone around depending on you, you have customers, you start having investors. It's really worse than having a boss, because no one will tell you what to do, but everyone expects everything from you.
Yeah, you should have a really bad boss to be better. It depends. It depends. I like what you say. Yeah, but is this your friend in real life?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's making laugh about you. Okay, so it's here to troll you basically. Nice. So
if your friends won't laugh at you, who will?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can identify many people laugh at me. So
yeah, I see a lot of things that we can talk about. I'll choose one if we don't have any questions. I like this. Let's talk about mistakes and failures, because I've seen that you are really open about talking about this. So I really admire people who talks about their mistakes, failures, burnout. So I like also to talk about this also on Twitter and other platforms, because I think it's important maybe to avoid other people to make your own mistakes, to learn from your mistakes. So at least this gives a sense to what you made wrong. So can you talk a little bit about this if you want?
Yeah, of course. Like there is no problem. Mistakes is always starting coding too fast, and that's fine. I did, and I also see other founders doing the same. Also, when I was technical co-founder in a startup, I think I focused too much on technology, and I didn't pay attention to what's happening in the other aspects. When your founder, doesn't matter technical or not, I actually don't like the term technical co-founder. I prefer founder. All of you are like the drivers of the car, and no one would understand the company more than the founders. Not even your girlfriend, wife, boyfriend, doesn't matter. No one would understand the company more than the founders. So you always need to have like eyes around. Of course, everyone has specialties, but I wish I was more present as well in non-technical aspects back in the past. Mistakes, this is maybe not my mistake, but I always tell people, when you start a company, start at home. If you live in a relationship, you need to tell your wife, girlfriend, husband, boyfriend, like that if you have their support, you need to win their support first, because as a startup founder, you're going to feel poor. You lose your income if you work full time, and you need to have support at home. And if you're coming to nagging significant other at home because you sit all day and click in the computer earning no money, you're going to fail. So this is a very big mistake. I see people that don't get this support at home first. One of the mistakes that I used to do in the past, and I always tell people don't, is talking about your business idea with everyone. Like people tend to send on family table and start to explain their business idea. Don't. These are not your customers. You're gonna be bring down, because every time you tell someone your business idea who's not your customer, people feel smart. If they tell you something negative about it, they feel smarter. So they try to torpedo it. And as a startup founder, it's already you sometimes doubt in yourself. Every startup founder will get depressed at some point. So talking about your startup idea with people who are not your customer is waste of time. Literally, it's better to say, I'm a software developer. It cuts the conversation, than try to explain your business and how, and every time to defend it from people that try to torpedo it. And it's not like people are bad around you, but also keep in mind that if you are working full time and then you tell everyone, I'm quitting, I'm starting a startup, fuck you. then people around you like start feeling challenged. They way of life is challenged because they think, okay, if these guys succeed, that means I'm wasting my life working for someone else, and if he makes money. So people try to a little bring you down, even if they like you, even if they wish you well. They are a little threatened sometimes that you challenge their way of life. And this is also very important when you talk about your business idea, that talk only to people that can help you. So talk to potential investors, customers, employees, but don't talk to people just to provide feedback, because if someone doesn't need your product, they will try to poke holes into it.
Yeah, thank you, Albert. I think this is important. This also happened to me in some ways, but yeah, it's important maybe to focus on what you really need. And as you said, I like what you say, that maybe they don't do this on purpose, but they bring you down in some ways, because of course there's no a perfect product or a perfect company, so it's easy to spot some mistakes. Or let's say, sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, I just wanted to add, there is very fine line between being confident and arrogance. And as a startup founder, you need to be confident. And sometimes it will rub people the wrong way, that you're arrogant, you're telling them that they're basically stupid, not building their own startup. And even if it's not your intention, that's why I find this very important, to not talk about your business idea with everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Oh, this one. Yeah, it can. I don't think that they do this on purpose, but yeah, it's about, I don't know, maybe they are far from your idea, because of course, if you are a founder, you have your own idea. It's also hard to explain like in 5 minutes while you are just eating at a restaurant or in a house. So it's more complicated over that, of course. Yeah. And of course, it could also depend maybe on the moment. And for example, maybe now I have some problems with this or with that. So maybe you are trying to solve something, but yeah, of course. Yeah, I hope that maybe that's not intentional. But
no, I believe people are good. But sometimes if you like, it's the same like if you're coming to the development team that has everything wrong, like everything wrong, and you start listing them everything they did wrong, they will tell you like, oh, you're telling me that everything is shit, that everything I do shit. You have to gradually improve and ask people to change things. You cannot just tell them everything you do is wrong. And sometimes as a startup founder, like you tell people, it comes across that, okay, you're working for someone else, you're not building a business, you're doing something wrong, which is not your message, but people sometimes will read that. That's why it's be very careful with that, and be very careful with overconfidence. That was one of my mistakes sometimes, so I learned from that.
Perfect. Thank you, Albert. We have so many topics. Let's see. I'm trying to choose one. If you have any questions also for him, you can make this in the chat. Let's about you said don't build for enterprise. You said me this topic. What can we say about this? I don't know if you have already talked about this.
No.
Maybe not.
This is like, I see sometimes people they say they come with good ideas for the big companies, like 5,000 people, even 1,000 people. You're not gonna sell to company, period, even at the beginning. You're selling to teams. If you build product that needs to be adopted by the whole company, people think that, okay, I help them. And yes, you can create a good product, but enterprise sales takes months, sometimes years. And for example, even like when they buy your product, they need to put they have teams to roll out the product across all the machines, across the people, teach them.
Yeah.
You cannot do it as a small startup. And sometimes small startups get themselves involved into big sale. They think, okay, we can make $100,000 a year for this one single customer. But after 3 months, they see that basically a ping-ponging email because they couldn't make any decision and money are not coming. So don't try to chase one big customer, because this is a trap. And as a startup founder, keep in mind that you're running out of money. You're poor. You're losing breathing money every month. And this company, you're one of many for them. They have money in their bank account. They can wait. They don't need you as much as you need them. So try to catch smaller fishes. Don't follow these big sales, because unless you have like really big connections or experience, but if you don't do it.
Yeah, or maybe don't do this as a first or second experience. Maybe after, I don't know, like 20,
Yes.
like 20 years of experience, maybe you have some money from the other startups. Maybe you can try some. Maybe that's the goal. Maybe you have that in your mind, but you need to understand which are maybe your limits. So as you say, you don't have infinite money. You can't
also, I want to add this, like, as a startup founder, this is this roller coaster. You feel poor and rich, stressed and happy. For example, one day you wonder if you can take yourself a weekend for holidays or even buying restaurant food, because that cuts money that you could put into company, that you can survive longer without work, you can work. And then the next day you approach VC and ask for €1 million. And, one day you wonder if you can eat in McDonald's, and the next day you ask for €1 million. That creates so much problems in the head. It's like, how do you get up when you fail? I just noticed the question.
I was waiting. Then I was. So basically, to start a startup makes you bipolar. Yeah, maybe. Basically.
Happy and sad, because one day, like, for example, you message 10 people like to try the product, you have 0 replies, and the next week you can have 100 people checking your product, and then you launch on Product Hunt and you have 0 customers from that, because everyone on Product Hunt is building a startup, so it's like actually quite bad community to sell usually. So it's like this roller coaster when you feel happy, sad, poor, rich. You talk about millions, the next day you like literally think if you can afford like buying a Big Mac in McDonald's,
Yeah, we have a question, and a very interesting one. How do you get up when you fail? This is a great question, I think. It's hard.
I don't know, actually. I think that depends with person, and that depends what is failure to you. Because sometimes failing, like sometimes that you try something can be experienced, just a step. For example, you try the iteration of your product, it didn't pick up, then you pivot and try again. So it's not really failure, it's a learning experience. It's something that gave you. But if you like fail completely, I think only you fail when you give up.
Like this.
So, but how do you get up? I think that depends on the person. For me, it was like taking a time off, like partying a little, For other people, will be going on holidays, and other people wrap themselves with the blanket and read book, for a month. And everyone is different. So I think I cannot answer this question.
It's a very hard question. I think, and also we have maybe different ideas about failure. For example, I don't know, if I want to reach 1 million subscribers on YouTube and I do just 100,000, for me it's a failure. But sometimes it's about our goals. Sometimes maybe we put some too hard goals, but maybe from the outside they are totally different ones. So maybe for someone you could, maybe if you, I don't know, if you get the second place, maybe in a world championship, you can feel like a failure, but from the outside you are a total champion, or maybe the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do we have another questions? We are starting with the questions. Let's see. How to hire right people for your company?
That's a very challenging one, because basically I believe like early startup shouldn't hire people. You should inspire people to join you. And you don't sell by your product. People usually don't care what you're building. You attract people by this positive energy, by that this spirit, and by being honest, by having this mission. So I think the early employees should more come to you. Of course, you can reach out to people and build, but it shouldn't be like, oh, I want to hire you. No, I want you to be a part of this experience. So it's like I would try to with your friends first, like your network first. You don't want unproven people or by recommendation. So you don't look like the normal, like you don't put ads. You try to find people in your network. And if you don't have network, build one first before you need one to build a company. And there are actually quite a few ways which we can talk about it later. To test people before you hire them. But in general, I think that you need to inspire people. The early employees needs to be inspired, and they need to want to be a part of the journey. Because if you hire people that's just gonna do their work, and I'm not talking about working long hours, I'm talking about the spirit.
I like this.
You need to be people being part of the company. And let people be a part of company. Don't keep the idea only for yourself. Let it evolve. Let other people be involved, because that's for me how the startup environment is. Everyone is a part of the same journey.
Yeah, I like this. I like the idea to leave the freedom of people. Of course, when you work, when you have something to do, something boring to do, but it's more about the idea. Who are you working for? So I like your approach. Maybe in the future, I don't know if we will do something together. Maybe in some years. But I like, for example. Yeah, for example, for me, it's really important. For example, if you try to be maybe in an employee shoes, maybe they are not just, of course, you work for money because you need to live, of course, but it's not only about that, of course, because there are many companies. So
also as a startup, you cannot pay people the same money as big companies. You give people stock options, or like they give them some percentage because they believe in your product one day. And and this is important, but like you need to inspire these people, and it's hard. It's not, there is no one way to fight right people, and everyone will find them in a different way. That depends on your country where you live, on your network, and on your Twitter account. Because, for example, if Francesco would start something, he would attract way more people than I would with my follower counts, and that's as well change the perspective, because everyone has to use the different way.
Yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, for example, I can give my personal experience because now I'm a freelancer. For example, I'm working for Feed Hive with Simon Hoiberg. For example, I like his idea of working. So it's also about that. It's not it's not just about money, but it's also about what you work for. So also this is a startup idea. So it's something that, for example, I like and I also would use. Yeah, we have hard questions today. I try also to answer. I think that all the questions are for you, but I try to answer.
I don't know. I think maybe you should say what inspired you to join Feed Hive first, because I'm actually curious about that part.
Yeah. The question is say how to inspire the people. I've always been a fan of being an example. Also, when I was a coach in the past, I was not just sitting in the corner and say the exercise that you have to do, but I always tried to give example to people with your lifestyle. Usually also when I get inspired from someone else, I always look at the actions, not just words, because we talk a lot, but it's important also to give an example with your your goals, your achievements, your celebrations. So, for example, this is what it would inspire me. So, for example, this is what I try to do. I don't know. Sometimes we inspire, sometimes no. Sometimes we are inspired, but for me, this is the answer. So, being an example, being the people who will inspire you. What about you, Albert?
I think honestly, and building something that is aligned with your values inspire people. If you build something you don't like, people will see that, and this is like you can tell that people like push these ideas, like a bad crap, like really sometimes you see that this person was basically sitting and trying to come with some idea to make money, and this doesn't inspire. Also, one other thing is that people are bored with arrogant guys showing the Lamborghinis, in the Instagram. You want to work with like people that you can tell that they don't do it for money. I think if this inspiration, like if this question why you build companies, right, you're gonna inspire people, and if it's aligned with your values. But if you're gonna do something that you are not fake, I don't think you're gonna inspire you can. Some people, the conmans can like there are many Ponzi schemes, around the world, and people still invest. But like if you want to do like honest startup and inspire these people, I think just be honest and try to build something that's aligned with you, and try to make the environment that is aligned with your values. Don't pretend to be someone else.
Yeah. We also say that it's hard also to fake forever. So maybe it's better just be yourself. Yeah, I'm saying some proverb now, but sometimes they are true. Yeah. Hi Gagan, how are you? The question is, say I have an idea for building a startup, but how can I make sure if it's worth the time and if it's gonna work? This is very hard.
Okay, so most of the people would advise you to do the data, like create a landing page, to contact people and talk. I'm not gonna tell you that because I don't like data-driven approach. I I think there is a value in that and with exploring product, but sometimes it's in your gut. I didn't talk to that many companies when I started building Birdslate. I just truly believe in that, and I knew that I want to build the product. So will you know? You're never gonna know. There is no guarantees here. You can minimize the impact of that by talking to people and finding like early customers. But these days, like in 2021, I see 100 product pages per week. How many do I remember? Like I don't have time to get involved into some startup, for example, even if I like the product idea. And sometimes you have just to risk it and build it without knowing. And even if you think you know, even if you think that people will buy it, you have great data, you created a landing page, 1,000 people subscribe to your waiting list. I can tell you that sometimes even that will fail, because with startups, your expectations are wrong. If you expect something to happen in 1 month, it will happen in 2. If you expect people to just come, they won't. And sometimes with some products, and this is actually one more. I have a really good example for that. I think before iPhone was created, we had touch phones. Like Samsung was creating feature phones, and you could buy the phone that we had touch screen. But iPhone revolutionized the market because they have multi-touch. It was the first phone with touchscreen that actually worked, and you wanted to use it. Imagine if Apple would put waiting list and landing page with the iPhone. People would go to this landing page and say, oh, another feature phone with like screen. Why do I need that? But they risk it. They build a product. They show it to people. And people fall in love with that product. I think they would have much lower response rate before, because some things you need to show to people. Some things you need to show them. So that really depends on the idea, but some products needs to be built first. And like I said, this is my risk. I was like, when I started building a company, I decided I can buy a flat and rent it out and earn, I don't know how much, earn like 3-4% a year probably on that. Or I can put this money into building a company. Because I believe Birdslate will bring me bigger return on my investment. Of course, every company needs to bring money, so there is a money aspect, but I'm also willing to lose that money that I put into company. I'll be sad, but this is my risk when I started company. So to answer your question, you cannot never be sure. You'll be never sure. And if someone tells you that this person is sure, it's a scam, because you can always take max out your credit cards or take a bank loan and build it by yourself. Like, why would they need like money or something if they're sure, if you have, there's no such thing as a sure investment.
Yeah, I think maybe we could talk even 2 hours or straight, but I think maybe it's more about chances, possibilities, statistics. Maybe you can improve your chances to be successful. Maybe this is maybe an easier question to answer. Maybe we already have talked about this. Hi Max. Pranav. Sometimes you can't imagine the impact of something, so you have to experience it, so you can get some idea of its impact. I think also it's about trying things. Of course, you can try things forever, but what do you think about this? Do you agree with this?
Yeah, I think so. You have to experience. Yeah, this is what I said about iPhone, like, or iPad. Like, these products were created first, like.
Yeah.
And that I think they couldn't even imagine the impact. I think Apple never knew how iPad big will be, because there were other tablets before, and like. Yeah, I fully agree with that.
Yeah, I remember in the 90s, Bill Gates said something like that. I still remember that. This is not sponsored, of course, but it's.
By the way, I read lately that Just Do It, Nike got his phrase from the person that was sentenced to death, and he said it right before execution. Just do it. That's a funny thing.
Yeah. Maybe I remember that. And also the check mark, resembles the mark. So, So Albert, let's see if we have other topics, because I've seen. What about the MVP? So minimal viable product. So something that it's. How do you define that? Because sometimes it's hard. I've heard people talking about MLP, minimum lovable product, something like that. So
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
because I think MVP is very 2010. Like in 2010, basically, you could create an app, put a Twitter bootstrap on it, basically code it on the weekend and people would come. But times change. Now even people working in the like with industrial machines or with business software, they expect great user experience, great UI. I think the times of like shitty MVPs are kind of gone. You have to now definitely you have to build much to gain the user attentions, especially keep in mind how popular building a product is these days. Even like we mentioned FeedHive, we have a lot of that. Even like Birdslate, we have 20 other products, and you need, like, I don't think the MVP, like the minimum viable product works these days. It's minimum lovable product. I love that term. I also read this recently in Medium, there was an article, and that was amazing approach. So I think MVPs are passé. Now we should focus on products that users can love.
Maybe we raised the bar just a little bit the last years. Maybe this is also because maybe now it's some ways, maybe it's easier to create maybe a catchy UI. So maybe also now the people, they want maybe something good looking for the beginning.
I don't think it's, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, maybe it's easier, but I still think that every product needs to work on yourself. And every company, even if you never replicate products, you need to look for your differentiator that will put you different on the market. And it still requires work. And I think that Slack was the greatest use case of building product with UX first in mind. They started like they wanted to provide great UX and UI, and there was plenty of applications like Slack, but they won the market. And I love their product. I love that from the day one, because actually it had great UX, UI, and it was first like company that produced like chats for Teams with actually amazing UI. Now we have way more, but they like actually show us how to do it.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. Gagan is going. Yeah, Gagan, nice to see you. I hope you both have a great day. Thank you. Keep doing the talks like this. For example, I've not asked ready for this feedback, because, for example, now I'm transforming what I did, for example, offline into live. So sorry for that, Albert. You have been tested like this in a live stream. But I like, for example, if some people can just jump in, make some questions. It's more interactive, maybe. So just maybe harder to schedule. Yeah, I still remember that I made some interviews with some people from India at 6 a.m. I don't know if some people will jump on Europe or at that time, but I'll try that. I don't know. Yes. So what about mobile? I see like a topic like mobile first.
So
what can we say about that?
That was my general advice. Don't listen to people's advices, even to mine. Like you need to follow your own gut when you're building company, and everyone is like telling you build mobile first. Fuck it, I build Birdslate desktop first because I don't want people to use my app on the phone, and I don't care. This is our feature. This is not a bug that we don't have this application, and I will defend it. And this is one of the things that people repeat. They repeat, "Oh, you should be ashamed of your MVP." No, that was 2010. It's 2021 now. People say that you should build for mobile first. No, I'm not going to build for mobile, even though my every competitor, like for Birdslate, having a mobile phone on their website. I have desktop computer because that's built in the DNA. So even like when there is one other thing about that, about following advices. You're not going to build another Apple in 2021. Steve Jobs, for example, was like genius. He built nice products, but he was asshole to people. He could fire them on the meetings. He would be canceled in first few weeks in 2021. And that's the thing. Every advice that you hear, you need to adapt to your situation, to your context. And there is and to your time. And also when you follow this company that made it, there is survivor bias, like people look like only at companies who survived, but not at the companies that failed. And for example, I try to read only stories from companies that fail. Because I try to learn from their mistakes, but not necessarily follow the good things the successful company did, because I don't think that there is a statistics there that will tell me, oh, if I follow these steps, if I would follow everything Apple did in 80s, it's not going to work in 2021 for many reasons, including they will be canceled, So you have to adapt every advice.
Changes. Yeah. I agree with that. Of course, and I think that now the world really changes even faster than before, maybe than 100 years ago. So maybe in 20 years we have totally different world, totally different ideas. So I think it's important, to focus on what should be good for you. Yeah, don't also being obsessed with something. Yeah.
I mean, obviously there are good advices there, and you should consider them, but always question. Like every time, everyone now is saying, "Oh, built in public," and I start questioning that if building in public is actually a good thing for me. If there is such thing like building in public, actually, if actually founder of the startup can build in public 100%, or if it's always fake. And in my opinion, you can build 95% in public, but this 5% will be fake, because if you have bad day and you have start questioning, and if I would be sitting here and saying, oh my God, I woke up today and I think Birdslate sucks. If there will be my customer on the chat or investor, they will be like, what the fuck, dude? You try to sell it to us and you say that the product sucks. So there is this part that you always have to question everything. You know, people say built in public, try to share people, try to help other founders, but also think what you're gaining in return, because everything we do has some agenda. You want to create YouTube, for example, videos to help other people, but also you have your own goals, like, oh, I want to maybe start making money as content creator, or the same is with the startup. You always need to see this value. So whatever you hear, and people like retweet every day that you should be ashamed of your first and like release of the product, and no one asks question why or if it's still working, but it's considered good advice, so they're gonna repeat it.
Yeah, I think maybe people are just trying, I don't know, like to find something good to do, but it's important, to also focus on yourself, what works for you. It doesn't, I stressed this because I made also kind of, let's say, a lot of interviews. Not everything works for everyone, so you need to understand what works for you. You can be super successful without having, I don't know, an Instagram account or a Twitter account. It depends on you, on your needs, also on your phase, on your life. So it's maybe people are just trying to find some answers, but sometimes it's
if you would be successful and happy, you wouldn't be on Twitter. That's the reality. Like, people are there looking for something. I joined Twitter, for example, because I felt lonely during pandemic, and that helped me build this sense of like being a part of the community. But some people, like, if I would be happy, had a lot of money and successful, I doubt I would be on Twitter, because I would have better stuff to do.
I don't know. We will never know. Maybe less frequently, but maybe you would have more followers, like Elon Musk. I don't know. You just post something and people will buy everything you say.
I don't know. I always say that Twitter is cheaper than therapists. So sometimes it's better to
like that.
Share your ideas on Twitter.
For example, I can say that Twitter helped me a lot during the lockdown. I started making memes, so it helped me a lot without having to go to a therapist. So it helped me.
It's definitely cheaper.
I
mean, you pay your time, of course. But,
and you also can get some. You also can get some likes and comments and good comments. So great. Let's say hi, Gabriel. Guys, I'm a youngster from Nigeria and I have an idea for a startup. I'm building the business model now. Apart from that, I don't know what else to do. I think he is just in the beginning phase, but I don't know if he's looking for maybe just maybe your experience. What can we say to him or some other people?
So first, I would like to define, like I said, if it's startup or side project. Like, this is a very important definition. And then don't be like the business model. Focus on the maybe why you want to start, and then maybe come with the product and see if you can inspire people around you. Because business model is I still didn't come up with fully business model for Birdslate, and I'm testing it with the customer. Because if you want to raise money for your company, not always want to have business model. If you find the right VC at early stage and they like your idea, every business model of a startup is bullshit. Everything, whatever you have on your pitch deck when you are trying to raise money, how you can predict whatever your company will make in 2 years, or even I barely know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, or I don't know even what I'm gonna eat after this life. It's hard to predict the future.
Yeah.
So I would start more from like trying to inspire, talk to your potential customers, see if even people interested, because business model is kind of like the last thing you should do after initial testing.
Yeah. Thank you, Albert. I like your idea because at the end of the day, we need to focus on something and maybe don't focus on something else. So this is basically life. So maybe I like that you focus more on not about just, I don't know, like some buzzwords or just fancy words, but more about the product yourself, the reasons why.
I call my product asynchronous video conversation platform for teams. How more boring it could be. I avoid buzzwords because I want people to experience the product. Actually, I don't know even how to call it in a buzzy word. I'm waiting for customer to tell me. But it's like boring definition. Like I couldn't be more boring. Like when I say that, I'm bored myself when I say that. Product is great, but I cannot name it yet. Like
maybe if you start saying this on a video, people could also skip like 10 seconds because you need 10 seconds to say this.
Or try to like customer call, like people ask you what you do. So I'm waiting still for people to tell me how I should call it. I'm waiting for people to call it. I think that would be more interesting than trying to come with the buzzy words, because buzzwords are nothing more than like bullshit marketing actually.
Perfect. So good luck, Gabriel. I hope that Albert helped you just a little bit, but good luck, of course, because it's not easy. I think we all agree with this in this room that it's not easy. It's not something that you can just do like this. You need a lot of work, a lot of confidence. As you say, those.
And also, I want to add, like people sometimes ask me if everyone can build a startup. This is actually another thing I want to approach here, because I think it's relevant to people that want to build their own startups. I think every person can build a startup, but not everyone can build startup right now. I think you need to be in a good space in your life. For example, 10 years younger Albert wouldn't be able to build a startup. I was barely able to wake up to work, and what to say, I built a startup. You need a lot of determination to do that. So every time, sometimes even if you have a good idea, it's better to wait a little, try to talk to people, read a little, educate yourself. When I started building Birdslate, I had to teach myself how to do front-end because I was back-end developer for many years. Last time I did front-end with jQuery was a new thing, was trending, and it was actually good practice. So I saw the React and Angular, but I never built anything in that. So I had to spend basically a couple of weeks reading about React, teaching myself before I built a product, because that's the thing. Taking these steps, getting educating yourself, it's also as important as building the product.
Yeah, I also like the idea that you started learning React after the idea. So you just don't just wanted to just learn a framework just for the sake of learning a framework. Because I think that if you have the chance to learn a framework or some technology because you need to build something, maybe you are more motivated. What do you think about this?
Yes, but I told you, I never learned programming to be software engineer. I consider myself maker. I like building stuff. I love building stuff. And programming is one of my tools in the tool set. The same, I'm teaching myself, marketing or a little UX and designing, because I want to have these tools to build stuff. But I never consider myself being software developer for the sake of being software developer. And there are people who pursue computer science career, PhD work, work on really advanced stuff. But this is not me. I want to build products. I want to build something people use. I don't want to build something that will be, in my drawer just for the sake of that. I want to release stuff.
No, I like this practical approach. I think that this works well usually in computer science, in web development, because we build projects, we build stuff. So I like this. Can you say practical approach to try to have something that maybe you can work on. So it doesn't matter. Maybe you're not the one of those people who just jump in and fight for the best JavaScript framework. I don't think that you're.
I actually don't like JavaScript too much. In general, I don't like asynchronous paradigm in programming languages. I want to know line by line what computer will do. In JavaScript, you don't know because you have callbacks, you wait, it hides from you. I prefer languages that open, you can create a thread, synchronize them. I understand what computer do. In JavaScript, frankly, I don't know how many threads Node.js will open to wait, for example, for, database connections. I don't know. And JavaScript for me is like this big black box. I'm not saying I'm hating JavaScript, but I prefer other languages, and I don't like this paradigm. Although since they use async await, it looks like a normal language. It's still not under the box, but it started looking like a normal language. But trying to debug something like memory leaks or stuff like that in JavaScript is super hard, like to build. Like, it doesn't work with my brain. It doesn't compute.
Maybe you need something simple that you can read. Even at late night or early morning. I don't know if you are more a late night, night owl or an early bird.
Actually, I sleep quite little, and I stay usually up late. I hate waking up early. Although in the last couple of days I woke up at 7 a.m. because I started exercising again, and then my body wakes me up at 7.
Yes. I'm always open to talk about this. I've seen we have done 16 kilometers, something like that.
It was the first ride. I on the bike I can cycle for 50 easy, but I don't try it. I want to try it gradually because, like I said, I was running so much that I ended up in hospital twice in the past because I was basically in 3 months. I think I lost 10 kilos from and I was already quite skinny. I was I do stuff too much, but I was running every day. I was cycling every day, and I was also doing workout every day. So I spent 3 hours a day doing workout for 3 months. So, and then I went to Poland when, see my friends. So I was drinking for 2 weeks, came back to England and started exercising again. And this was the moment when my body said, okay, if you go to Poland to drink with Polish people, especially with Polish people, maybe you should wait a few days before you start running, and maybe running 20K every day for a few days, it's a bad idea. So, I love exercising. I love sport, but at the same time, I need to stop myself from not doing that too much sometimes, because especially exercise is quite easy because you see your progress super quick. So you have this gratification.
Exactly. Yeah. It's I always say that maybe you can stare your screen for 4 hours. Maybe in that case, it's better to have maybe a very long run on walking. Maybe at the end of the day, you really feel the difference if you walk or run for 2 hours. Yeah. I think.
We were drinking actually. Yes.
Perfect. Albert, thank you. I think this has been a great opportunity to know you just a little bit more. So I'll keep following you on Twitter. I hope to see you soon on some Twitter space. I'm hoping you have also a free pizza and free coffee if you come. So what are you waiting for?
Open borders.
Of course. You can do that. So, Albert, this has been really great episode. I think that you have also, I like that we had this topic. I really wish you best luck with what you are doing. It's something, let's say, risky. Let's say, maybe you need to work a lot on this, but I hope that one day we will check again this video. We'll say, okay, maybe now this is the evolution, or maybe we can make another episode. I don't know. In some when something happy.
I hope so soon, because we have quite actually we have quite many interested people in Birdslate in many ways, from clients to even investors. So it's not something is not happening, but obviously with the startups, you can fail any day. So
in that case, I'll delete the video. Don't worry.
No. But in that case, I have many more ideas for working on the product, and I hope one day. But also, all my products has to provide people fun at work. This is my DNA.
Nice. So thank you, Fernand, for stepping by. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. If you want to say bye, you can now.
Bye. Follow me on Twitter quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Let me share again your Twitter handle. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Albert, this has been really great. I'm really happy to have you had here on this, let's say, series. Now it's becoming more live, more interactive. So I also like this, so I don't have to edit. and this is perfect. So
thank you for having me. Like I said, I always wanted to do something, and it's our first conversation, like where we had actually opportunity to talk.
I think, maybe it's the first time that we talk like this. Because maybe I've seen your videos, you have seen my videos, but we are never interact in this way, in this video format, and I really liked this. I really enjoyed this. Now it's now I can really read your tweets with your voice, with your ideas, and I like your sense of humor.
I sometimes tweet drunk, so even I the next day don't remember what I meant, and I never schedule my tweets. All the tweets are what I'm thinking right now. So like,
perfect. Yeah, people would like to have you here maybe all day long. I don't know. But I think if we have a lot of feedback, maybe you can make another episode, something on your channel. I don't know. We will do something. Yeah. Some
thank
ways.
You. And thank you for having me.
Perfect. Bye bye, Albert. Thank you.